Getting bad tenants is every landlord's worst nightmare. It could be destroying your property, maybe it's not paying your rent on time, it could mean having to do an eviction, and so many other things that no one wants to do. So no one wants to go down that road. And so one of the key points to having an enjoyable, profitable, and successful experience as a landlord is getting good tenants from the beginning. So today we're going to talk about just that in this video, so stay tuned. Hi there, my name is Richey, and I am the principal broker of Richey Property Management. We are a residential property management company located in Reston, Virginia. We manage over about 700 residential rentals for our owners throughout Northern Virginia. And if you've been watching our channel for a while, or if you're new or interested in this kind of content, I'd love if you'd subscribe and please share it with others who you know would be interested in this sort of content to help you be a great landlord and purchase rental property. Okay, so when potential clients here in Northern Virginia come to us, one of the first things that they ask is, how do you get good tenants? Everyone is really worried about that, obviously. But what actually defines a good tenant? It really comes down to three simple things. Can they pay the rent? Do they take care of the property? And will they get along with and be respectful to the neighbors? Those are really kind of the three core things that we like to think make up a really great tenant. So we definitely have things that we do in our company to ensure that our clients get the very best tenants possible. And I wanted to share some of those with you. I'm going to share 4 things that I think you should think about when you are trying to get the best tenants for your own rental property. Okay, number 1, what you put out is what you get in. I would call myself a little woo-woo. You know, I'm one of those people that I'm a big believer in that what you put out there in the universe is what comes back to you. And similarly, real estate is like that, especially when it comes to renting your home. So if you put out a crappy house out there, you're going to get crappy tenants. If you put out a good house, you're going to get good tenants. In our company, one of our sayings is that if you have a rat's nest, you're going to attract rats. Really, whatever you have is what you're going to attract. So do your work and present your home the very best that you can, and it will make a big difference in getting those fantastic tenants that you want. Okay, number 2 is tenant screening. This is huge and probably one of the most important things that you can do to ensure that you get the absolute best tenants possible. I talk a lot about tenant screening in this channel, and I've made a lot of videos about it. And if you want to know more and know some more specific tips on how to do good tenant screening, then you can watch this video and you can learn a lot more. I'm not going to go into great detail on this video about tenant screening, but definitely learn and take your time to learn what you need to do to get the right applicant. If you get an applicant that doesn't meet your standards, then do not take them. Don't be in a rush to fill the home with the person just because that person may turn into a bad tenant. And take the time to do your due diligence, do it right, and you will get good tenants. It will make your life so much smoother through the tenancy. And also, when setting your criteria for tenant screening, you want to make sure that you set it high. Why would you want to set it low? You want the best you can get. So make sure that you set it high, you define it clearly, and that you use that as your guideline every single time. Don't take that first person that comes along just because you're getting desperate and they apply and you want to take them. Make sure you do everything to be consistent and diligent in everything so that you can make your decisions based on your criteria and not on your emotions. You know, it's really easy for tenants to pull at your heartstrings. They'll give you all kinds of stories, want to make you rent to them. Don't do that. Be objective, stick to your guidelines, and that will save you time and time again. I promise. Okay, number 3 is exposure. Marketing is the name of the game in order to get as many potential tenants as you can, because you want the absolute best of all of those. So you want to have a great marketing plan, and your marketing plan will expose your home online to as many potential tenants as possible, and it becomes really a numbers game, right? I mean, if you think about it like this, you expose your home to the world, so many sites online, and tons of people are going to see your property. Well, of all those people that see it, only a certain number are going to actually want to come visit. And of those people that actually set an appointment to come visit, only some of those are going to be interested in actually making an application. And of those that make an application, only some are going to qualify, right? So if you can get a handful of people that qualify that are great tenants, then you have control. You can pick the best one, and that gives you more choices, and hopefully it gives you more applications. and you can get the best of the best. The alternative is that you don't do any of this. You put your house on there, maybe you put it on Craigslist, and you get an application. Maybe your house has been sitting on the market for a couple of months. Now you're starting to get desperate. This is not the position you want to be in. So you then start going, well, I just need to fill the house, and you don't want to be in that situation. You want to make sure that you fill your pipeline as full as possible so that you can end up with a great tenant at the end. Okay, and number 4 is help your tenant be a great tenant. What do I mean by this? Well, there are a lot of things that you can do as a landlord to help your tenant be successful. And ultimately that helps you as well. If you have good systems, a clear lease, things like that, those are definitely going to help. So for example, if you have an easy way for your tenant to pay their rent, they're more likely going to pay on time. If you have tenants pay by check, well, that's not necessarily a bad thing, a terrible thing, except that the US Postal Service isn't so reliable these days. And once you actually do get that check, then you need to wait for that check to clear, which could be another several days. And then what happens if that doesn't actually clear? Now you've got another issue. So if you set it up for your tenants to do a direct deposit into your account, or if you have some kind of management software that you use that allows them to pay online, or even Venmo can be a great option. But having some easy system makes it a lot easier for that tenant to pay, and you have the money right away. It's free and clear, and it's good for you, it's good for them. And another way you can help them to be a good tenant is by making sure that you have a clear and detailed lease that spells out everything, including what happens in different situations. This cuts down on so much confusion for both parties, and it reduces potential conflict later on. Everyone knows what their responsibilities are and what the penalties that can come into play if someone violates the lease. This is so much easier when leases are like this. And when it's unclear and there's ambiguity, it causes a lot of problems, and it's not spelled out clearly for your tenants. If it's clear, everyone knows the rules, it makes it easier for you, it makes it easier for them. And one last thing that you can do to help your tenant be a great tenant is by you doing your part. What that means is that you have a responsibility here in this relationship. It's not just the tenant. So for example, if there are repairs that need to happen and you're slow to respond, or maybe you don't even do them and you don't hold up your end of the deal, tenant gets frustrated, it makes them not care, it makes them not take care of the property, they might not even pay. And you don't want that. So you want to make sure that you do all the things on your end of the deal. You want to be the kind of landlord that is responsive, takes care of issues, answers the tenant, is communicative, and does all the things so that that tenant can enjoy your property. It makes them much happier, and it probably also means that they're going to stay in this property a lot longer, which will save you a lot of money. Okay, so there you have it. There are 4 tips to getting and keeping good tenants. Certainly hope this was helpful. Hope that you get good information out of our videos, and I hope none of you ever get a bad tenant. I know how difficult that can be. We've had them. And if you are in the Northern Virginia area, we can be of any assistance or any guidance. Don't hesitate to reach out to us. All our contact information is below. And thanks for watching.